display the lecture to the students, and then he can go over the lecture time and again and things like that, or display the lecture and come and discuss it to the students later?
I think it would vary. It would vary to me depending on the topic, or I would do one way and one the other way. Give the student that variation. It's up to your skill, I guess, and your style. And how the students may want to do it a different way. Ask the students.
You can use two teams, one as programmer, then user. The user as professor, just to learn, and this prepared in advance before. Because it is time consuming just to prepare like that. Yes.
It is, and that's where, that's an obstacle that you all have. It's an obstacle that I've had, and it's an obstacle I still have, but we've got to work out a way of how to get over that obstacle. And I'm trying to get funds to have programmers that can do this. You know, it requires very specific technologies and animators. And I'm sure, hopefully, I can convince someone how important it is, and then funds can come to create these resources. And the key thing is, why would I want to create them for my students? Why would you want to do it for your students? Do it collectively. You know, education is global now, as we were saying before. Share things, let people have a communal database of different resources to use in their teaching. It makes much more sense that way. And that's something we've got to work to as a group here, maybe. I've got to work with a group back in Australia to try and come to some collective mission to develop these things. And you might want to go away sometime and look at your course and say, you know, what can I put in an animation that would be better off in an animation rather than a lecture? I've done it myself. I've made a list of things that I'm going to do in an animation. Again, more effective and more efficient learning and more fun for the students. And I'm being passionate and honest about my teaching and my drive, and I'm being adaptive, which is what are we trying to do here. Any questions on that before we... Yes.
Can it be very painful? It can be very painful to the students, especially if they don't understand your animation or things like that.
Yes.
But I think if you displayed before,
yep,
it would have been much more better. And then you come and discuss the things.
Yep.
About students, you spend most of the time sending emails to you, yep, or things like that.
Yep. I think it also varies on the complexity of the animation. You know, some students might prefer me to listen to me explain this and illustrate it. Other students may prefer to do it on their own. Again, it emphasised my point earlier about students have different learning styles. So give them both learning styles. Let them choose which one they prefer.
Going back to the student groups, student seminars and discussion, by showing them already seminars done before and so on, you will not have a real-time student grouping and discussion. So they will meet a lot of...
We think they are, you know, I've been using the excuse they're very digitally capable, but I still at the start of the year tell them what an e-learner is and what it means to be an e-learner and what their responsibilities are. And I think they appreciate that. And I also, because of my weekly contact with them and encouragement, I think they feel free to come to me with any problem they've got. There's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be obstacles, but in the end I think the majority of students are going to actually benefit from all this. Yes?
This is a very good platform, but in this example of mine, schematic representation of this action of the various drugs on the various cellular and molecular levels. How are we supposed to make it?
Well, that was the question over here. The question is, this is an example of e-learning, but the question is, how do you create these animations? And the answer is, you either share, you know, one of the issues that I'd like to encourage you to do is form collaborations and partnerships. You know, that's on the web. The University of London, no doubt, have a lot more animations. Make contact with them and ask them, can you use their content?
This is again an issue of copyright.
Sorry? Yeah, I think most institutions, certainly from my experience, are willing to share their content. There may be a small fee for it. I'm not sure. I don't know how they operate. But I think in the end it's not worth trying to get a whole lot of funds and doing it yourself because of the time involved when there are already people who could do this very quickly. From my limited experience in animations at the university, due to me just getting into this, I think some very skilled people can do this very, very quickly. But that's an obstacle that we have to if it's an obstacle, then we have to say, right, how can we get around that obstacle? What are the needs, what are the costs to make it viable? But certainly don't look at it and say, oh, it'll never happen because I haven't got the time to do it, we haven't got the technology or the experience. Maybe that can be achieved.